Yeah, you're right there. Step away from that boat.
This is my boat. I'm just getting ready to head out.
Don't lie to me. I've been watching you. You don't belong here.
What are you talking about?
You're trespassing, and it looks like you're trying to take something that's not yours.
That's not true.
Turn around before this gets real bad for you.
For what?
You haven't even... I said turn around.
It started as a routine patrol at a private marina in St. Petersburg, the kind of quiet afternoon where nothing usually happens. Boats sat still in the water, lines tied tight to the dock, and a few owners moved in and out, minding their business. But that calm didn't last long. A patrol unit rolled slowly into the lot, and the officer behind the wheel fixed his attention on one man standing beside a boat. There was no call, no report, no complaint, just a decision made in seconds. Without asking questions or checking anything, the officer stepped out and approached like he had already made up his mind. What followed wasn't a simple misunderstanding. Within minutes, the situation escalated into a confrontation that would be caught on camera and reveal how quickly authority, when misused, can turn a normal moment into something far more serious. If you want to see how this unfolds and how quickly things escalate, make sure you subscribe and stay with this story, because what happens next only gets more intense. Wade Felix, 34, stood on the dock beside his boat, Blue Axiom, going through a routine check before heading out. He worked as a marine systems consultant, most of his time spent around boats, engines, and dock systems. Nothing about what he was doing stood out. He moved with familiarity, checking the fuel line, adjusting a rope that had loosened slightly, keys resting in his palm. The sound of tires rolling slowly over gravel didn't pull his attention at first. Patrol vehicles passed through the marina from time to time. It wasn't unusual. But this one didn't pass. The driver's door opened. Heavy steps followed. "Hey." Wade glanced up briefly. A uniformed officer was already closing the distance, posture stiff, one hand resting near his belt. "Step away from the dock," the officer said. Wade straightened slightly, confused but calm. "I'm just getting ready to head out." "I said step away," the officer repeated, sharper this time, not slowing down as he approached. There was no introduction, no explanation. Wade took a small step back from the edge of the dock, still holding his keys. "Is there a problem?" The officer stopped a few feet in front of him, eyes scanning him briefly, then the boat, then back again. "Yeah, the problem is you're somewhere you're not supposed to be." Wade frowned slightly. "This is my boat." The officer let out a short breath like he had already heard enough. "Don't start with that," he said. "I've been watching you since I pulled in." Wade blinked once, trying to process the shift in tone. "Watching me do what?" "Loitering, moving around like you don't belong here." There was a pause. Water tapped lightly against the dock behind them. Somewhere in the distance, a metal chain clinked against a post. Wade kept his voice level. "I just got here. I'm prepping my boat." The officer stepped closer, closer than necessary. "You got ID on you?" Wade hesitated, not out of fear, but confusion. "Yeah, but what?" "I'm trying to understand why you're asking. I haven't done anything." The officer's expression didn't change. "You're being asked because I said so. Now reach for it slow." A woman further down the dock, Greer Howard, had stopped walking. Her phone was already in her hand, angled slightly toward them. Wade noticed the shift around him now, the attention, the tension. "I'm not reaching for anything until you tell me what this is about." That was the moment the officer's posture changed completely. His hand moved from his belt to his cuffs. "All right, turn around." Wade didn't move. For a second, nothing shifted except the sound of water against the dock and the faint hum of a boat engine somewhere in the distance. Then Officer Deacon Bradley took another step forward, closing the gap completely. "I'm not telling you again," Bradley said. "Turn around." Wade kept his hands visible, keys still in his right hand. "I'm not resisting you. I'm asking you what I did." "You're about to make it worse," Bradley cut in, already reaching toward him. "I haven't done anything," Wade replied, steady but firmer now. Bradley didn't respond to that. His hand grabbed Wade's wrist suddenly, fast, without warning. "Hey, don't grab me," Wade said immediately, pulling his arm back just enough to break the grip, not aggressive, just reacting. "There it is," Bradley snapped. "Now you're resisting." "I'm not resisting. You just put your hands on me," Wade shot back. Bradley stepped in again, more force this time, trying to control Wade's arm. Turn around, hands behind your back. Wade shifted his stance, keeping his balance on the dock. I'm not turning around for no reason. You haven't told me anything. That hesitation was all Bradley needed to escalate. His voice got louder. Stop resisting. I'm not, Wade started, but Bradley cut him off again, trying to force his arm behind his back. Down the dock, Greer Howard's phone was now fully raised. Oh, wow, he's grabbing him, she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. A couple near the marina entrance slowed down, turning their attention toward the scene. Wade's movements stayed controlled. He wasn't swinging, not pushing, just trying to keep his arms in front of him. You're doing too much. Relax. Don't tell me to relax, Bradley fired back. You don't get to dictate how this goes. Bradley reached for his cuffs again, pulling them free this time. The metal clicked loudly in the open air. Last chance. Turn around. Wade shook his head slightly, not without a reason. That was it. Bradley stepped in hard, attempting to force Wade forward, but the angle on the dock made it awkward. Wade stumbled half a step, but caught himself quickly, keeping his footing. Watch it, you're about to make me fall. Then stop resisting, Bradley repeated, louder, drawing more attention. I'm not resisting, Wade shot back, frustration starting to show. From the side, a voice finally cut in. Hey, what's going on over there? Hollis Baird had stepped out from between two slips, wiping his hands on a rag, eyes narrowing as he took in the scene. Bradley didn't even look at him. This doesn't concern you, he said, still focused on Wade. Hollis slowed, clearly recognizing Wade now. That's Wade. He's good. He's with that boat. Bradley finally glanced over, just for a second, then looked back at Wade like nothing had changed. He can explain that after he's detained, Bradley flatly said. Wade exhaled, shaking his head. This is unnecessary. Bradley tightened his grip again. Turn around. Wade didn't move. Bradley's jaw tightened. His grip shifted again, this time more forceful, more deliberate, and then he tried to take Wade down. Bradley drove forward without warning, trying to force Wade off balance. The angle on the dock made it worse. Wade's foot slipped half an inch on the damp wood, but he caught himself again, planting both feet firmly. Relax, what are you doing? Wade said, his voice sharper now. Stop resisting, Bradley shouted, louder than before, like he needed the words to justify what he was doing. I'm not resisting, Wade replied, breathing heavier now, still keeping his hands in front of him. You're the one escalating this. Bradley didn't respond. He shifted his grip again, trying to twist Wade's arm behind his back. The movement was rough, rushed, like he was trying to force control instead of gaining it. Turn around, Bradley barked. For what? Wade shot back. You haven't said anything. Down the dock, Greer Howard adjusted her stance, keeping her phone steady. This is getting out of hand, she said quietly. Another voice came from behind her. Did he do something? I don't think so, Greer replied. He was just standing there. That didn't slow Bradley down. His breathing was heavier now, frustration showing. He stepped in again, trying to hook Wade's arm and pull him sideways. Stop moving, Bradley snapped. I'm trying to stay on my feet. You're pushing me toward the edge. For a split second, Bradley glanced down at the water behind Wade, then pulled harder anyway. The dock creaked under the shift in weight. All right, that's enough, Hollis Baird said, stepping closer now. Officer, you're doing too much. He told you that's his boat. Bradley turned his head just slightly. I said stay out of it. He's here all the time, Hollis added. That's Wade. He owns— I don't care what you think you know, Bradley cut in, voice cold. He's not cooperating. Wade let out a short breath, shaking his head. I told you who I am. You just don't want to hear it. That line hung for a second. Bradley's expression tightened. "Yeah," said Bradley, "because right now all I see is someone who doesn't belong here refusing a lawful order." There it was, clear, direct, and said without hesitation. Greer's voice came from behind the phone. "You didn't even ask him anything." Bradley ignored her completely. His focus stayed locked on Wade, like nothing else around him mattered. "Turn around," he said again, quieter this time, but more controlled. "Or I will put you on the ground." Wade didn't raise his voice, didn't step forward, didn't threaten. "I'm not turning around for something I didn't do." That was the moment Bradley made his decision. His stance shifted, his grip tightened, and instead of trying to control the arm again, he went lower, fast. His leg moved in, trying to sweep Wade's footing out from under him. "Hey!" Wade reacted, trying to pull back, but Bradley was already committing to it. The dock shifted under both of them, and Wade started to go down. Wade's footing gave just enough for Bradley to push through with it. His leg clipped Wade's stance, and the force carried forward. Wade dropped to one knee hard against the dock, his other foot sliding out slightly on the damp surface. "Watch it," Wade said, catching himself with one hand before his shoulder hit the wood. Bradley didn't ease up. He followed him down immediately, pressing Wade onto his upper back, trying to force both arms behind him. "Stop resisting," Bradley shouted again, louder now, the words cutting across the marina. "I'm on the ground. What are you talking about?" "You're still not complying," Bradley fired back, grabbing for Wade's left arm and yanking it back. Wade tensed, not fighting, just reacting to the pressure. "You're hurting my arm. Relax." "Put your hands behind your back," Bradley ordered. "They're in front because you forced me down," Wade replied, his voice strained but controlled. A few more people had stopped now. Footsteps echoed lightly on the dock as they kept their distance but watched closely. Greer Howard moved a few steps closer, her phone steady, voice low but clear. "He's already down. Why are you still pushing him?" Bradley ignored her completely. "Last warning," he said, trying to drag Wade's arm higher. "Stop resisting." "I'm not resisting," Wade said again, sharper now. "You didn't even explain why you grabbed me." Bradley shifted his knee, pressing more weight onto Wade's back, trying to pin him fully. The dock creaked under the pressure. "Give me your other hand," Bradley demanded. Wade adjusted slightly, trying to relieve the pressure on his shoulder. "I'm trying. You've got me pinned." "That's because you won't comply," Bradley snapped. From behind them, Hollis Baird stepped closer, his tone more urgent now. "Officer, seriously, he's telling you the truth. That's his boat. You're making a mistake." Bradley glanced back briefly, irritation flashing across his face. "I told you to stay back. You're interfering now." "I'm not interfering. I'm telling you you've got the wrong person." Wade turned his head slightly, enough to see Hollis in his peripheral. "Hollis, just don't talk," Bradley cut in immediately, tightening his grip again. The metal cuffs were already in his hand. They clicked once as he adjusted them. Greer's voice came again, louder this time. "This is being recorded." Bradley didn't even look. "Good, then it'll show him refusing orders." Wade let out a breath against the dock, frustration clear now. "You never gave a clear order. You came up accusing me." "Hands behind your back," Bradley said, each word slower, sharper. Wade tried to shift his right arm back slightly, but Bradley's positioning made it awkward. "Loosen up and I can move it. You've got all your weight on me." Bradley didn't adjust. Instead, he forced Wade's left arm higher again, pushing it toward the middle of his back. Wade winced. "All right, relax." But Bradley was already moving to secure the cuff. One side snapped shut around Wade's wrist. Tight. Too tight. "Watch the cuff," Wade said immediately. "That's too—" "Should have thought about that before," Bradley cut in. Wade's expression hardened, still pressed against the dock. "This didn't have to happen." Bradley didn't respond. He reached for Wade's other arm, and that's when a new voice cut through, sharper, closer this time. "Hold on. What exactly is going on here?" Bradley didn't answer immediately. His grip stayed locked on Wade's arm, trying to force it into position for the second cuff. Wade shifted slightly under the pressure, still pinned, still controlled, but not fighting. I said, hold on, the voice repeated, closer now. Orson Tillery stepped onto the dock with purpose, eyes moving quickly from Wade on the ground to Bradley kneeling over him, then to the cuff already secured. "What's going on here?" Orson asked again, firmer. Bradley finally looked up, irritation clear. "Active detainment. Step back." "Detainment for what?" Orson asked. "Failure to comply. Trespassing," Bradley replied without hesitation. Orson's expression didn't change. He looked down at Wade, then at the boat just a few feet away, blue Axiom, then back at Bradley. "That's Wade Felix. He's not trespassing." Bradley's jaw tightened slightly. "That's what he claims." "It's not a claim. He's one of ours. That's his vessel." Wade turned his head slightly against the dock. "I've been telling him that." Bradley didn't acknowledge it. His focus stayed narrow, controlled, but there was a slight pause now, just a fraction. Then he pushed forward anyway. "All right, then let's see it," Bradley said, grabbing for Wade's free arm again. Orson stepped closer. "No, stop. You don't need to cuff him." "I've already started the process. He's not cooperating." Wade exhaled, frustration heavy but contained. "You didn't give me anything to cooperate with." From behind, Greer Howard's voice came again. "He told you multiple times that was his boat." Hollis Baird nodded, backing it up. "He's here all the time. You can check the records, slip assignment, registration, everything." Bradley looked between them briefly, then back at Wade. "Everybody's got something to say now," he muttered. "Because you're wrong," Orson said, not raising his voice, but not backing off either. That landed. Bradley's posture shifted just slightly, not enough to release control, but enough to show he heard it. "All right, then let's see it," Bradley said, after a short pause. "Then let's see what you've got." But he didn't remove the cuff, and he didn't let go either. Bradley kept one knee close to Wade's back as he eased just enough to let him move. "Slow," Bradley said, "real slow." Wade pushed himself up carefully, one cuff still tight on his left wrist. He kept his movements deliberate, steady, making sure there was no sudden motion Bradley could twist into something else. "I'm going to step onto my boat," Wade said. "My documents are inside." Bradley stayed right behind him. "I'm coming with you." "You don't need to be on my boat," Wade replied. "I decide what I need," Bradley cut in. Wade didn't argue further. He stepped onto blue Axiom, the slight shift from dock to deck rocking gently under his weight. Bradley followed immediately, one hand still hovering near his gear. From the dock, Greer's voice carried. "He's literally walking to his own boat with a cuff on." No response. Inside the cabin, Wade moved carefully, reaching with his free hand toward a storage compartment beneath the console. "I'm opening this," he said. Bradley stood close. "Do it." Wade lifted the compartment lid and pulled out a waterproof folder. He set it slowly on the surface, flipping it open with one hand. "Registration's right here," he said, sliding the document forward. Bradley didn't touch it immediately. He looked at it, then at Wade, like he still wasn't convinced. "Read it," Wade said. Bradley finally picked it up. The name matched. The vessel matched. The slip assignment number matched what was painted on the dock outside. For the first time since he stepped out of his cruiser, Bradley didn't speak right away. From the dock, Greer called out, "Is that enough?" Greer added, "You got what you needed." Bradley ignored both of them. He looked back at Wade, then down at the cuff still locked around his wrist. A long second passed, then another. Wade broke the silence. "You going to take that off?" Bradley exhaled through his nose, tension still visible in his face. Not apologetic, not calm, just contained. He reached down and unlocked the cuff. The metal clicked open. Wade pulled his hand back immediately, rubbing his wrist. A red mark had already formed. This could have been handled a lot differently. Bradley didn't respond to that directly. He stepped back onto the dock, putting a small distance between them now. Right on cue, another patrol unit pulled into the marina lot. Doors opened. Officer Kellen Duvall stepped out, scanning the scene quickly. The bystanders, the phone still recording, Wade on his boat, Bradley standing stiff near the edge of the dock. "What's going on?" Duvall asked as he approached. Bradley didn't answer immediately. Greer did. He arrested him for being at his own boat. Duvall looked from her to Wade, then to Bradley. There was a pause. Then Duvall asked quieter this time, "Is that accurate?" Bradley's jaw tightened slightly. "He refused to comply," Bradley said. Wade shook his head. "I asked questions. That's not the same thing." Hollis stepped closer again. "You had the wrong guy from the start." Duvall's attention stayed on Bradley. "Did you verify ownership before detaining him?" Bradley didn't answer right away. That silence said enough. Duvall glanced towards the boat, then back at Wade's wrist, then at the bystanders still watching. "You might want to slow this down," Duvall said under his breath. Bradley didn't respond. But the control he had at the start of this situation was clearly slipping. The dock stayed quiet for a few seconds after that. Not calm, just quiet in a way that made everything feel heavier. Officer Kellen Duvall shifted his stance slightly, eyes still on Bradley. "We need to sort this out properly," he said, keeping his voice low but firm. Bradley didn't respond. He stood near the edge of the dock, shoulders tight, watching Wade but not saying anything. Wade stepped fully back onto the dock from Blue Axiom, flexing his wrist once more. The red mark was still visible. He didn't raise his voice, didn't step toward Bradley. He just stood there, composed. "This didn't have to go that way," Wade said. Bradley let out a short breath, more like frustration than acknowledgement. "You didn't comply." Wade shook his head slightly. "You never gave me a reason to." That hung there. From a few feet away, Greer Howard lowered her phone just enough to speak clearly. "You walked up to him like he already did something." Hollis Baird nodded. "Didn't ask a single question first." Duvall looked between all of them, then back at Bradley. "Was there a call?" he asked. "No." "Complaint?" "No." Duvall paused. "Then what initiated this?" Bradley didn't answer immediately. He glanced briefly toward the marina entrance, then back at Wade, like he was searching for something to stand on, but there wasn't much left. "I observed suspicious behavior," he said finally. Wade gave a small, almost disbelieving nod. "Standing by my own boat?" No one responded to that. Orson Tillery stepped forward again, calm but direct. "We're documenting this," he said. "Everything that just happened." Bradley's expression tightened slightly. "Do what you need to do." Duvall looked at him again, quieter now. "Body cam's been running, right?" Another pause. "Yeah," Bradley said. Greer lifted her phone again slightly. "And so is this." The moment settled in. Not loud, not dramatic, just clear. Bradley adjusted his stance, then finally stepped back from the dock edge. No apology, no correction, just distance. Wade watched him for a second, then turned slightly toward his boat, like he was deciding whether to continue what he originally came to do or just leave it for another day. Around them, people started to move again, slowly. Conversations picked up in low tones. But the energy hadn't reset. It lingered. Because everyone there had seen exactly how fast a normal situation turned into something else and how easily it could have gone further. Wade exhaled once, steady, then looked back toward the water. The marina was quiet again. But it didn't feel the same. If this story made you stop and think, even for a second, make sure you subscribe. because situations like this don't always get recorded, and they don't always end this way.